Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host, a Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben. How are you? Just us today. Isn't this cozy?
Conduit Turner. It is just us. Can you believe it? Are you all right with that?
Yeah, I'm all right with that. It's nice to spend some time. I mean, it's lovely to entertain, isn't it, Ben? It's lovely, but it's nice when you can just relax. Look, have a nice, comfortable silence between two obvious friends. Look, it's nice, isn't it?
Oh, you had a silence. I had to fill it with a laugh. You know, that's my.
And we're still professional podcasters. We're fine.
Exactly. That's my way of coping with these things. It's a brand new month. It's June 2025. Time
It
rolls
is
on.
halfway through the year of our Lord 2025 already, or almost. And how are we celebrating, Ben? What's on the schedule?
What's on the slate? Well, there we go. We've surprisingly had a little bit of trouble trying to plan this month ahead because there's quite a few new releases. So we've ended up with 3 new releases out of 4 episodes. So we've done that a few times before.
Cheeky.
Hopefully you like that when we covered the new ones. Which means our goal of watching all of horror gets more and more difficult the more we do this, though, Andy, because when we do the new releases.
This helps us, though. If we hit the new releases, they're coming out. That helps it not get ahead of us.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
We're batting them as they're coming over the net. We're right at the net for June.
Yeah, we are. We are. This week, Fear Street Prom Queen. I mentioned this last week and what I've been watching, but then I think I had a thought where I was like, hang on a minute, we covered the original 3, the trilogy of Prom Queen. No, the trilogy of Fear Street movies, all in one go in one episode. So I thought the completionist in me kind of makes me think we
can't let that slide
on this. Cannot let that slide. We have got Sweet Home coming up, and we've got Daniel Richardson from Terabytes joining us for that. Of course, we've been mentioning Terabytes over and over again, but we've seen all the episodes now. We've watched it all. We've completed that. So we thought it'd be good to get Dan back on the show. He joined us a while ago for the House of the Dead episode. I think that was January 2024. I hope it was that long ago and not even longer. So we thought we'd get him on to talk about Sweet Home, which is the movie that partly inspired, at least, Resident Evil. That's right, isn't it?
Started it all.
It started it all. Someone went, hang on a minute, this film.
It's named the same as the game. There is also a game, Sweet Home.
Yes.
Probably a little bit harder to access these days. Is it Super Famicom, maybe? Yeah, it's harder to come by these days, but the genesis of survival horror, and bearing in mind how much of a big deal that is for, I say us collectively, but especially you, Ben. It's where we had to go, isn't it, for a good horror discussion?
Yeah, exactly. And then in terms of other new releases, for week 3, we're covering Dangerous Animals, which is the movie serial killer / shark movie, which we've again mentioned a couple of times on the show. Too good to not give our full attention for a full episode. And there's the big one. This may be most people's number 1 horror, most anticipated movie of the year. I think I did read that somewhere, that it was the most anticipated horror release for most horror fans. And that's 28 years later. Can you believe it?
I know, and I am. Well, I'm going to say I'm raging, Ben. I've got the rage virus, but I haven't, because the reason I'm not going to be here for that episode is a very nice one. I'm on my bloody holidays that week.
You're on your bloody holidays. You're going to the Rage Island.
I am going to be having a right old rager in Cyprus, of all places.
Oh.
So what a lovely place if you get the rage virus to have a nice calm down, sit by the pool for a bit. Don't burk on me though. I've got people sitting.
Although the Dead Island franchise exists, and we've seen what that looks like with zombies on a lovely island. So it's an island.
Yeah.
Is it Cyprus?
Yeah.
Sorry, my geography failed me.
I mean, technically, if you think about it, like America's an island. It's just a big one.
Yeah, you're right. We're all an island. I'm an island. You're an island.
Yeah,
we are.
Everything's an island. So I'm sorry to miss you, but you have got a fabulous guest in that week, and I will be watching it and giving you my thoughts when I get back.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. The closer and closer we get, the more and more excited I am getting for this particular film. I don't know. The first trailer I saw, I like the look of it, but I was like, oh, has it got that 28 Days Later vibe? Because I feel like the 28 Days Later vibe is very specific 28 Weeks Later didn't necessarily have that vibe, apart from the opening scene. The rest of it was kind of void of that vibe. But this one, I watched a few more recent clips and trailers, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting it now. I'm getting the vibe.
I
It's
watched the new
knocking it.
trailer at the cinema the other week and can confirm I'm very excited for 28 years later. I do have two questions for you though, Ben. 28 weeks later wise. Number one,
Weeks or years?
years. 28 years
Okay,
later.
okay.
28 years question number one. How's your bone temple anxiety going as this one gets closer?
My bone temple anxiety is nowhere near as high as yours is. I've kind of put it right to the back on the back burner now. I'm not too bothered about it.
Always got a little bit of bone temple anxiety, Ben. Question number two. You can only pick one.
Okay.
If one, like we know, we had the big discourse about was that skinny, was that skin bean bloke who got up? Was he
Was that
Cillian Murphy? No, it wasn't. Everybody, he's going to be back in the Bone Temple.
Yes.
But if one of your 28 days or weeks later people could turn up, which of the following would you be more excited to see? Two Colorized Robert Carlyle.
Yeah, what? Evil Dad lurking in the shadows.
Evil Dad lurking in the shadows.
Yeah.
Poots.
Oh, Poots. Now that'd be interesting because we don't know what happened to Poots. I suppose you don't know what happened to Carlisle either, do we?
Yeah. So Poots.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind her name's a bit like the poem that's used for the promo.
Poots, yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy Renner. No, he died, but he could get better.
He died, but he could get better, or he could come back as a Rageman.
Yeah.
But he'd be absolutely ravaged.
With all of his arrow powers that he has.
Yeah.
If real life has taught us anything, is that Jeremy Renner is a resilient man. He deserves.
He's invincible. I was in Asda the other day. He's already written an autobiography.
About the time he got fucked up saving a kid from like a terrible danger.
Yeah, the first chapter written down before he even came round, I reckon.
Straight away.
Jeremy Renner.
I guess if he's sitting in hospital getting better, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
Is
that it? Is that the free option?
No, of course. The fourth option.
Jim.
Even more difficult for this fella to come back, I imagine, given his fate in 28 weeks later. But of course, both of our favourite character of the franchise, Man.
Wait, these are all exclusively people from 28 Weeks Later, right? Have you done it on purpose?
Yeah, they're all from 28 Weeks Later. Who else is going to come back from what? Doctor Who? Is he going to come back, is he?
I thought you were gonna list some people from the first one.
Okay, fine. Choice 5, the Taximan.
The Taximan. Oh, yeah, he's
Dad.
definitely dead. He's definitely dead. He had blood in the eye and everything, didn't he? I only say that because there was they showed the first 28 minutes to an audience. I think that's a cop out. Like, imagine what if it ends in a really awkward bit, like halfway through a sentence? All the 28 minutes. Yeah,
I'm just going to the toilet.
Shit! I went to the toilet at minute 26. Came back. Everyone's leaving. Because they were talking about what happened to Jim and it's Selena, isn't it? Played by Naomi Harris. They've both still got to be alive, surely, because But then again, do we need to necessarily? And I know that Cillian Murphy is apparently in the Bone Temple, but I am genuinely like, do we need to see any of that? I mean, it would be kind of cool, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
Is Celine going to be in like a different structure made of a different material? Is she going to be in the Tooth Grotto?
The Tooth Grotto? That'd be very difficult to put together. That'd take even longer than the Bone Temple, wouldn't it?
The nail bar made of actual nails, though.
The nail bar. Very nice. Just keeps growing as well. Keeps growing, That's how it works. Who would I like? I mean, Carlisle returning in some it would be mad that somehow his weird mutated version of the rage virus that he's got, if it is that, has somehow meant that that's how it survived for 28 years. Because what is this new version of the virus going to be? Because there's got to be a twist. There's got to be like an interesting point that makes us think it's.
They're going to get more intelligence, I think. So they're going to go, actually, I won't starve to death. I'll have a bit of moss or something to keep myself going.
Actually, I won't starve to death. I actually know how to make a lovely Vegemite sandwich.
I'll be like that pig in the episode of The Simpsons where I live off rock slime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it could be that. 20 years is a long old time, though, isn't it?
Just living outside, you'd catch your death, wouldn't you?
Oh, it'd be boring as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, could you be that angry for that long and not just be bored? What's the more powerful emotion, rage or boredom?
Definitely boredom. You just go, oh. Because, anger, usually when you calm down, I was silly 10 minutes ago, wasn't it? When I was absolutely raging, I feel fine now.
Yeah.
I feel absolutely fine.
They've got whatever the rage virus version is of like post wank clarity. They're like, oh, actually, what have I done? Just
Oh,
thumped a
no.
priest. I've just thumped a priest to death.
I've just put my thumbs in a man's eyes. Oh,
Oh
no.
no.
I'm embarrassed.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
ashamed of what I was thinking a minute ago, actually. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry about that. I'm
Oh,
embarrassed.
please come back. I just want to make it up to you.
I'm going to go off into the woods alone. Yeah. But what is my answer to that question? Poots, why not? Poots'
Yeah.
brother.
Bring that Poots.
Although I reckon 20 years later, this world looks a lot less hospitable. The world of 28 years later, so I reckon they're both dead. Poots and
There's
the
probably
brother.
no schemes for kids, is there, to hang about nowadays? I
There's no
imagine they've
bloody
also
scheme
stopped
for
being
kids.
kids in 28 years.
No. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to some other stuff as well, Andy, because we've had some trailers this week.
Yeah, we certainly have.
I'm going to fly on into that unless you got anything else to add.
No, trailer away, please.
Yeah, trailer. Last thing though, is famous character man going to be in 28 years later?
We got minced by a helicopter blade, so I'm guessing fine pieces of him are all over the UK in this thing. Probably still a fine mist in the air, isn't he?
The man mist comes in.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking off pod the other day because I was not able to find on the IMDb page man's actual name or who plays him. I might have to get out the hard copy, see if I can, or like find it on one of those, anything like an Amazon that has like an
because you're
X-ray.
looking for a man. Like he's probably called Dave or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to find out who man is, find out who plays him, and then I'm going to do my damnedest to see if he can come on for an interview, our favourite character, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll probably be over the moon, but at the same time, is it disrespectful to just call him man?
Well, no, if he's not called man, that'll be the first question. What's your actual name in this film? He'll tell us, and he'll tell us.
Let's do the
He
research.
might be a brilliant method actor who's like, I actually played him as this is the character, and all the stuff that you didn't see on stream that brought him to the. He might have a full story. Before you know it, it's going to be like a corporate fusion tie-in comic book where about that time we found out that C-3PO had a red arm. He's going to be telling you all about it.
Oh, red arm. I remember that. Okay. New trailers, which means horror news of the week. So let's talk about Black Phone 2, where the grabber is going full Freddy Krueger.
He's a Freddy now.
But he's coming to get you in your bloody dreams. Like, actually get you in your dreams. There's a sequence which genuinely looks like someone's getting got in their dreams. And it's in the snow for some reason. Black Phone
Do you reckon they're in a dream when it's snowy? Or do you reckon it just was snowy in the real world that day?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, this looks great. I watched it because, I had to, and I'm into it. So it's coming out in October. And the synopsis is 4 years ago, 13-year-old Finn killed his abductor and escaped, becoming the sole survivor of the grabber. But true evil transcends death, and the phone is ringing again. Of course, what's interesting about this is that a lot of the grabber's victims were, of course, undead and were ghostly.
They're on the phone before. He's copied their thing.
They helped Finn basically escape and kill the grabber. So the grabber's passed over to the astral plane, and he's gone to the afterlife, and he's gone, you know what, sounds all right, laugh, being undead.
Being on the phone.
Being a supernatural force, I'm going to do that. So he's beyond the grave, he's menacing, he seeks vengeance on Finn, and he's menacing Finn's younger sister, Gwen. And Finn is...
Because she's psychic, isn't she?
She's what?
She's psychic, isn't she? She helps find him in the first one.
Yeah, that's right.
Not in the book, Well, not overtly in the book.
No. Well, it's only a short story, isn't it? So, although I think they framed the short story collection now as The Black Phone. I saw it in a bookshop recently. It's like The Black Phone, now a major motion picture and other stories. So it is only a short story, but it is good. And yet, Scott Derrickson returns to direct from the script he co-wrote with C. Robert Cargill, and they've worked on stuff before. And Joe Hill, who wrote the story, is executive producing. And Derrickson calls it a high school coming of age movie in the same way the first one was a middle school coming of age movie. School doesn't have to be this stressful, does it?
Imagine if that was a high school. So what's the third one like? The Grabber Party Liaison, a uni
Also,
movie.
I've noticed on the poster and on the trailer and like on this, it's called Black Phone 2. The first one was called The Black Phone, was it not?
Yeah,
They've
I think
got
so.
rid of the.
And maybe it's just now it's just a black phone.
It's not The Black Phone. It's just
It's a different. It's certainly a different phone if that trailer's anything to go by.
Yeah, a bloody. Is a 17-year-old kid gonna know how to? Actually, is it set in the past? Can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to set the black phone now. The Grabber would be ringing people all day. No one picking up a landline, are they?
No, my phone's on silent at all times. You'd never get hold of me. You'd be fuming. You'd have to...
Yeah, it becomes when you watch suspected spam declined. Thanks, the Grabber.
Suspected spam. I think this is a phone call from the afterlife.
Undead Revenge Ghost declined straight to voicemail.
There is a moment in the trailer as well where obviously that mask, which is in like two halves, like the bottom half and the top half, he rips off the bottom half and it seems to take half of his face with it.
He's got a ghouly Freddy Krueger face underneath it, hasn't he?
Or he's glued that mask on too hard.
I mean, what I will say about the Grabber, right?
Go on.
I know he's coming back in this for revenge. I put it to you, the Grabber, that you fucking started it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's no good. How dare you not be murdered by me and kill me in self-defense?
Yeah, I want vengeance.
I'm raging. I'm going to come back for revenge on you, actually.
And he killed loads of other kids as well. I hope the kids in the afterlife are all fucking him up, kicking him in the shins,
beating him up like Pennywise.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your hand up if you're a dickhead dressed like a clown. Oh
no. It takes place at a winter camp known as Alpine Lake. I think Gwen persuades Finn to visit the camp during a winter storm. Come visit the camp during a winter storm. I'm being terrorized by the person who abducted trying to kill you. Come and it'll be a laugh. It'll be a nice getaway. No.
I'll stay at high school, thanks. Then again, high school, if this week's anything to go by, can be a real hassle.
Oh my god, big old hassle. Okay, so that's Black Phone 2. We got a trailer for that. We also got the trailer for Guillermo del Toro's. Don't know why I did that voice. Frankenstein. This has been teased for a while, obviously. Coming out on Netflix in November.
I can't believe this is a straight to Netflix release.
I mean, it's mad, isn't it? Because you watch it and it feels like it's got the production value of like Nosferatu, right?
It does.
It's like Nosferatu / Bram Stoker's Dracula, but Frankenstein.
And to be coming out in the spooky season, not at cinemas.
Ooh.
I mean, I know it's, screening deals and Netflix will have put a load of money into it, but it seems absolute mad shit. Is this one of these where they're going to put it on one cinema for 35 minutes to make sure it's eligible for awards still?
Oh yeah, they could potentially, but I don't know. Did you watch this trailer as well?
I did. It looks great.
It looks great. Like visually, it looks awesome. It feels like it's got really heavy hitters in terms of playing in the lead roles. Like Oscar Isaac is Victor Frankenstein, Mia Goth is Elizabeth Lavenza, Christoph Waltz is Dr. Pretorius. We've got old Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster, that fella from Saltburn. Big tall man from Saltburn.
Big tall man.
People were going crazy for him. First traps all over the internet for this guy. Don't really see him as Frankenstein's monster. He's either covered in he's in a mask, or there's a scene at the end where he's like fighting some people, but he's got a big hoodie on.
Yeah, throws a poor sailor just doing his job off the edge of a boat.
You never guess who else is in it, right? I'll give you one guess. Try and guess someone who would be perfect in this bloody film. Think deep voice.
Oh, is Ralph Ineson in this?
Ralph Ineson is in this film as well. Yes, he is.
Before you gave the clue of big deep voice, I was like, who else is going to be in this? Is David Dashmalchian's going to be in it as like a little wee man just around the thing looking for his airfare?
Well, is there a Igor, or is that just is that a film thing, or is that a thing in the book?
That's a film thing. There's no Igor in the book.
Yeah, I was thinking that there's no bloody Igor.
That was Daniel Radcliffe in the last one of those, wasn't it? The what's it called? Frankenstein, the James McAvoy one.
Oh my god, the James. Oh yeah, wait, was that a stage one or was that an actual?
A film one.
Do you
Daniel
remember?
Radcliffe is Igor.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember. Victor Frankenstein.
Victor Frankenstein, that's the badger.
2015 that came out. Do you remember I Frankenstein? That's a comic book adaptation, though, isn't it?
I'm not sure if it is a comic book adaptation. It probably is. You are right, 'cause it feels like one. I just thought it was a.
Based. Oh wait, here we go. Based on the digital only graphic novel.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no! Someone's gone. We need a new IP. What should we go for? Any of these printed graphic novels?
Yeah, I Frankenstein. He wears a hoodie, doesn't he? And is not Tom Jane the other one?
It's not Tom Jane. It's Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart. Tom Jane, Aaron Eckhart is a real Robert Palmer, Peter Gabriel situation for me.
Yeah, exactly. And you could just pick. I have seen this film. I don't remember much about it. Picture this: Bill Nighy is the is the villain, a demon prince.
Sculpting.
I can already picture the aesthetics of this film. Jai Courtney's in that as well. And
Jai Courtney's in it.
Gideon, leader of the Gargoyle Army.
Yeah, and Aaron Eckhart wears a hoodie, does a big punch, does some shooting. It's sort of Hellboy coded, I guess.
Yeah.
And to avoid confusion, even though he is I Frankenstein, I guess that's his last name. His name's Adam.
It's Adam, actually. My last name's not Frankenstein.
Adam Frankenstein.
It's the last name of the bloke who made me. Bit awkward, actually.
I guess he's his dad, so he's adopted him.
Yeah. Anyway, that looks good. I look forward to it. Yeah, hell yeah. Last piece of horror news I've got is something about Terrifier 4. Damien Leone promises Art's backstory in the first 15 minutes of the movie. Can you guess what it could potentially be? I've not got an answer. I'm just asking you.
He was having revenge. He probably was already a murderer, and then, when killed by a kid in self-defense, decided to come back for revenge.
Who were you? I abducted and tried to kill you. How dare you?
Yeah, it'll be one of those classic murderers take revenge for being murdered, but he dish it out but can't really take it, can they? And then make a deal with that little girl devil thing.
Oh yeah, little
come
girl
back as a thing. I mean, Damien Leone, a passionate and skilled filmmaker, lots of good work, lots of really passion for effects. Can he deliver something as complex as an entire backstory in 15 minutes?
Yeah, something that a lot of people have been hanging on for as well. You know,
I'm not sure that in the previous ones they've delivered minor pieces of exposition or information within 15 minutes. The one thing about the Terrifier films is that they are not brief. So we will see how fast they deliver that backstory.
I hope it's not Art Klein. Just was. Born this way, Lady Gaga.
What would be worse? Either the Art the Clown Lady Gaga's it, or the only way they possibly might be able to do it in a 15-minute thing, a text scroll, Rat's Night of Terror style.
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
once upon a time, there was a normal man who wasn't a clown, and he really liked television program Neil Buchanan's Art Attack, and he made that into a clown personality. But then somehow, the same way the Emperor returned, he died and came back for revenge.
I hope we're not going to try and make us feel sorry for this character, like the Joker, Killing Joke style. Like he had a family and he was just a failed bloody comedian. Got him with the wrong crowd, tried to do a job, turned up to some sort of heist dressed with a bloody red fishbowl on his head. What are you doing?
Slipped in some chemicals. Jeremy Beadle did that.
Yeah. Found some chemicals and that's it. Who knows?
Yeah, or he's like Art the Clown when he was just a nice man, was in a jigsaw trap, and he goes, "Oh, being nice to people all the time, are you? Just trying to be nice and improve that." He was Patch Adams, basically.
Well,
and then said, "You have to do the opposite to what you love to survive. You got to be horrible, otherwise I'm going to kill your kids."
Oh yeah. Well, I was nice. I did like saving kids, but now I'm going to force this rat down someone's neck with a bloody horrible tube.
And then freeze another rat and smash him to bits in my little warehouse base.
Oh, horrible stuff, isn't it?
Horrible little bastard.
Anyway, all of those films we've just mentioned and more, I'm sure we will cover on the show in detail.
Speaking of, Ben, I haven't seen this, Pete. I'm not sure you have. Do we have, or is it just imminent, a Stranger Things trailer?
there is a Stranger Things trailer, and you know what? I haven't watched it. I don't know why. I feel like the the amount of time between the last lot of Stranger Things and this lot of Stranger Things have been so long, and because I'm a regular social media user, I've seen so many bloody AI posters and trailers and shit like that that the actual real trailers come out, and I've gone, I don't even know if I care. But yeah, there is a new Stranger Things trailer for Stranger Things Series 5, and the release dates of Volume 1, Volume 2, and the finale. The Volume 1 comes out, I think it's like November the 26th.
Is it like nearly Christmas,
Nearly
New
Christmas,
Year?
Christmas, and then New Year's. So, of this year as well. So, 139-minute finale. So, I didn't watch much of the trailer. I just saw a bit where one of the characters, it wasn't 11, it was someone else, shouted, "Run! There's the Upside Down coming!"
Oh yeah, because that's where we left it, right? Again, it's been a long time between drinks, so
Yeah.
is that where we left Stranger Things? That the Upside Down is going to come through to the real world?
Yeah, I think so.
Transformers Dark of the Moon style.
Yeah, and apparently the final episode, the finale, is called The Right Side Up.
It's the opposite of the Upside Down.
That's obviously when it all gets sorted. And it's 1987 as well in this one. I feel like it's got to be later than that.
It's the only one that my sister could be in.
It's the one your sister could be in.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been able to, canonically, she wouldn't have been able to be in any of the others.
Yeah.
She could be in this one.
She could be in this one. She might turn up. You never know.
See a baby in it? Could be her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's one comment about Fear Street Prom Queen that has really stuck with me, and we'll get to that when we talk about the film. But what I will mention is that, are we reaching the end of like we love the bloody 80s, everything's set in the 80s these days? Are we reaching the end of that? Are everyone reaching the end of their tether?
I think it might be due a wee rest. Also because
a wee rest.
Bearing in mind, what was it? It's not totally killer. There was something I started watching but had to abandon, which is where someone does a time travel to the year 2000, you know, the ancient past, the year 2000. I was like,
I remember you saying that.
Don't fucking do this to me.
Don't
get out.
Do this. Please, no. Please don't do this. 2004.
Ages ago. 2000. No.
20 years ago. Oh, God. Yeah, don't do this to me. Well, yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, so that's it for horror news. What we've been watching. Anything for the last 7 days that you've seen that you want to recommend? I'll mention. I'll go first, Andy, only because I'll be quick. I know I'll be quick. I watched Fred and Rose West, a British horror story.
I also watched that.
I'll mention it because it's got the word horror in the title, and I could do an impression of Fred West because I'm from the West Country.
Sounds exactly like you.
Oh well, she might be under the patio. You never know. Who knows if she's under the patio? I never did nothing to her. You did do something to her, Fred, didn't you? Yeah, I did. She's over there, and she's over there, and this one's over there.
And when he gets done that time, when he was like, "Oh, and so I killed her," and then I thought, "Well, that's 3 now." Oh, I mean 2.
Oh, he actually did that.
That's how he got.
He actually did that. He actually went 3 now 2. Obviously, like this is horrific because there's like 12 known victims, probably more. Fred and Rose West working in tandem. This is something that gripped the UK in the 90s. It was like, what was it, 1993? True crime on Netflix, I feel like it's quite hit and miss. I feel like this is all right, but I feel like it still feels quite surface level. I feel like while we do a little bit of digging into the backstories of some of the victims, not a lot, just some for some reason, I feel like Fred and Rose West still feel like a bit of an enigma. You're still like, what's wrong with them then? What's wrong with them? These bloody wrong.
I mean, the answer's a lot, and I think that's another thing to point out when we're doing a little bit of a light reading of some of the content. Obviously, not to belittle the suffering of those victims, but to point out that you shouldn't think that people who do serial killings are actually quite cool and interesting. They're stupid fucks. And what, like, it is lunacy that I think the thing that really struck me watching it was how it all came about, and it was only because they'd been so careless with the way they spoke to their other children that basically alerted the social services to, should we look into this family and then uncovered all these terrible things they've been doing for years.
It just felt like you could just do what you wanted in the 70s or the 80s, maybe not the 80s, but like the 70s, because like just people being missing and just like not really. There was literally no way of really trying to find out where they'd gone. I know a lot of people go missing these days as well, but this was like insane, like the levels to which people could just vanish and never be seen again, and that's it.
Yeah, and just not be looked for. The very fact that their own daughter had been missing for, what, 6 years
Yeah.
before the police were prompted to look at them very closely.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't overdo it with the true crime stuff on Netflix. It's not something I watch all that much of. I think this one was one that I thought, okay, I'm a bit more. I'm familiar with this anyway. And there is the reenactment version, not reenactment, but like the dramatization version of it called Appropriate Adult, which is on Netflix as well, which is pretty good, I think, if only for the wig worn by what's the actor's name, Dominic West, throughout. So I think you've got, so Emily Watson's really good as like the appropriate adult. She's in the show, in the documentary as well. We find out a bit more about her, but yeah, the focus on those two, Fred and Rose, in Appropriate Adult, is like just a 2-part miniseries, I think. But yeah,
Okay.
Dominic West as Fred West, wearing a Fred West wig, pretty funny. Doing a South West accent. I think in the documentary there was a lot more footage and
Those audio
tapes,
recordings, right?
audio
Yeah.
recordings that I'd never ever heard before. So
Yeah. Because similar to you, then, it was a huge news story when I shouldn't, because I am not a too dissimilar age and live in the same country, but I remember that it was between growing up, it was that, and then obviously the Jamie Bulger stuff was huge when I was growing up, and
yeah,
being a kid at the time,
horrific.
it was really quite surreal. It's really one of the first times I remember being acutely aware of like some of the terrible things that happen in
Especially
the
like
outer
when you're like,
world.
how far away is Gloucester from Bristol? Oh, not far. Get her in 45 minutes. Ah! Oh God, Fred West's gonna get me. But yeah, it's I think as far as the Netflix true crime stuff goes, it's all right. I feel like a lot of Netflix true crime stuff plays for the dramatization of things, like goes, and you'll never guess what happened next. And there's like an hour talking about the same thing, and you're just like, oh bloody hell! All right, wrap it up for God's sake. Whereas this feels a little bit like it wasn't perfect, but still,
Yeah, a little bit more succinct, shall we say. It doesn't do, I think it might be down to the production company and the focus of where it comes from. You get a lot of US
yeah,
dramas that, because they're built to have adverts in where they're not screened on a platform,
yeah,
like Netflix do a lot more recapping, whereas this was fairly one and done and then moves on to the next piece.
yeah. So yeah, I watched that, and then I did watch. I think you saw that I watched this. I watched Bats.
Oh yeah, what's your take on Bats?
So after watching Rats, I think I told you that after watching Rats, Amazon Prime was like, "Hang on a minute, don't you want to watch Bats now?" I feel like this film is set up really well, and then just gets so boring so quickly. Like it just goes from this massive, like, huge action set piece where we get all these rubbery, horrible bat puppets looking terrifying and just like ripping people's jugulars out and stuff. And then look, there's a whole bit in the middle of the film where they go, "What are we gonna do then?" And then they're just like trying to plan what they're gonna do. And then towards the end, I don't know. I found the ending
Is it
a bit strange.
napalm? Is that the solution?
I think yeah. First 20 minutes sets up a great film, but unfortunately, it does not pay off on that. Is it Dina Meyer, who is from Starship Troopers?
Yep.
She's in it. She's good. She's good. And
She's from the
Leon,
first most of the film going, I wish she was the sheriff of my town.
I wish she was a sheriff of my town. Yeah, Leon, he's good. Whoever wrote his dialogue probably has a lot to answer for, though. Just, it's so bad sometimes. Just like one-liners are plenty. Lou Diamond Phillips, who I feel like is a person who I've just
It's related to Diamond Dallas Page.
Lou Diamond Phillips is someone where I'm like, who's that? And then I look at his filmography, and he's in loads of stuff that I've seen, and I'm like, why do I know who this man is? He was in Werewolves, wasn't he? That we both saw recently.
Oh,
And he's in Young Guns. I love that film. But yeah, I would say Bats. Apart from the fact that the poster has got the word Bats upside down, which I think is a piece of design,
it's one of the great pieces of art.
a great piece of design. Apart from that, I didn't particularly like it. How do you feel on Bats?
I haven't seen Bats for many years. I will revisit it, I think.
I mean, it's a great late 90s creature feature. It's exactly the kind of film I would have enjoyed back then, and I do still enjoy it. I can still say it's crap, but I still enjoyed it. That makes sense.
There is, yeah, I think there's a lot to say for films like that. There's one that I've now lost the title of. Sorry, Ben. I feel like this is my last couple of weeks have been the deep cut weeks. After I told you about that grandma film the other week,
Oh yeah,
in a
Granny.
similar era to me watching Bats, there was something else that I got on like a DVD triple set of like creature features, and it's called something like dragonflies, except they're not dragonflies. They're big flies that are dragonflies, but they're also big and they breathe fire. And
Oh.
there's a whole nest of them, and the enemy. All I can tell, I have to. This might be one of the ethical uses of AI I can come up with. I can tell you that the sort of antagonist who they're forced to team up with to deal with the creatures is a drug cartel like overlord gang boss called Jaguar. And towards the climactic sequence when there's about to be a big explosion, I think the last sort of action hero beat from our main character is something like "Catch you on the flip side, Jaguar," and then they do one and he gets blown up. I'm now desperate to re-find this film and bring it to your attention.
Yeah. Oh my God, please do it. I've got something similar. I've got a memory of a film where there's some sort of like flying creatures that are like attacking maybe a house. I feel like it might be bees or like hornets or something like that. And there's a scene in it where, and again, we could put this out to listeners if anyone remembers these films. There's a scene in it where somebody like gets in a bathtub to hide from these flies
Yeah.
or bees or wasps, and uses it as a little tube to breathe from. And there's a bit where like one of them is like getting down the tube.
Oh no, you should need to blow really hard, don't you?
Anyway, but I remember that, and that film for some reason used to terrify me. But I feel like it's just killer bees. I feel like it might just be killer bees.
We need to go on like a marathon of these real deep cut movies that will probably do nothing for the algorithm in helping people find the show, but we'll enjoy very much.
We'll enjoy very much. Yeah, exactly.
I still am desperate to do Infested one day, which features. I mean, all you need to know, Ben, is horrible flies that go into you and turn you into a zombie and steer you around like a mech, and one of the best ways of killing a monster antagonist that I've ever seen in a movie, and an all-star cast including Zach, whose last name I've forgotten, who is Billy from Gremlins, and Amy Jo Johnson, who is of course Ben,
Bloody Pink Ranger.
the Pink Ranger. Very good.
Oh yes, sounds great. I'm up for this. I'm up for all the stuff. We should do a. I mean, to be fair, I think Bats would also be a good film to cover. I do like the 90s. The 90s ones are the ones that really speak to me. So
Yeah, join us later this year for a deep cuts special.
yeah. Anything else this week, Andy?
Couple of bits for me, Ben. I'm a little way into Doom the Dark Ages.
Oh, nice.
Now it's pleasant. You played the recent Doom games, Ben. And what was is it that you do like Doom 2016? You're not so keen on Doom Eternal?
Oh no, I love them both.
I
I feel like I probably do prefer Doom Eternal. I like Doom, but I think Doom Eternal is like, and I know a lot of people don't like it because it's so multicolored and it's so like fast paced and just like it is over the top. But I feel like I like that. I feel like that perfects the Doom formula for me.
Yeah.
People might not agree. People say, "Oh, it's not scary enough," but
You'll probably like this then. I found Doom the Dark Ages so far, and I will say I'm only a couple of levels in, so there are mechanics I haven't unlocked yet. I find it feels at the moment a little bit too much like a game. I know that's a stupid thing to say. All Doom is a game, but it feels a little bit less weighty.
yeah.
It feels a little bit less weighty to me, and I feel like I have a little bit less choice right now. I feel it is very much. I feel very much like I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
It's very keen to keep you in the flow of the game. So when you do a big glory kill or something like that, it is very kind of your guy makes a gesture and the sprite changes color and flies away into oblivion. It doesn't have that visceral close up, the neck snapping, or
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, of course.
different like animated kills that we got in the last couple.
Mm.
And it's very much like, oh, this creature has an energy shield, so I need to throw my metal shield at it. Oh, this monster has a metal shield, so I need to shoot it for a few times to heat it up, and then by
Yeah.
throwing my shield at it, it will explode. It feels like everything you see has a particular button combination or move
Yeah,
type
got
that
an
it wants
answer,
you
yeah.
to do to it to achieve it, like a big game of rock scissors paper. And I'm not fun. I feel less engaged with playing through the story, which is probably more intense than it ever has been. There's quite lengthy cutscenes between levels.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know, it feels more gamey, so I'm not quite as captured by it just for the sense of fun as I was the previous ones, but still very competently made.
Yeah, looks good. It's definitely on the list. I didn't want to.
So
It's on Game Pass, isn't it?
yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I know this was on your previous list, Ben, but it was one of the old Horror Hangout episodes that I wasn't on back in the day, and I've caught up on this one. I watched The Void.
Oh yeah,
2016's
The
The Void?
Void. Body horror stuff in a garden center.
Yeah, that guy's wife gets turned into a garden centre by that bad man.
Oh no, a bloody garden center. Yeah. How'd you find that?
Yeah, I liked it. It's very grubby.
Yeah.
Like it's all grubby and horrible, and obviously they did a lot with not a huge budget. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
And then finally, after a couple of weeks off, Ben, the most important update is I've done some catching up.
Oh, you're back to it. Very nice.
Back to it with, of course, Friday the 13th, the series, and some real belters of the series so far. Now, Ben, I know a couple of weeks ago now, I asked you to make your predictions as to what the cursed item would be in the Electrocutioner, and I can confirm you're absolutely correct. It was an electric chair.
It was.
What you may not have been able to predict is that it was a young man who was sentenced to die in the electric chair. He turned out not to die in his execution and went on to get better,
Oh.
to retrain as a dentist and change his identity, and then have the electric chair as his dentist's chair,
I knew when
and
that was
use
going
it
then, yeah.
and use it to kill people in a young offenders institute, electrocuting them so they disappear into just ashes and a pile of clothes, and then using the electric chair to charge himself with electrical energy like an electric gremlin so he could go and kill the people that falsely convicted him of murder ages ago.
He's a shocker.
He's a shocker, and he meets a lot of people who happen to be touching metal when he confronts them. So he can touch a railing or a doorknob.
What?
Or
So he's got better and changed his life, but then he's punishing others for their. It's not fair, is it?
classic revenge, isn't it? Of a killer, you get a power, you go do a revenge.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And then obviously we was catching up after a few weeks off, so I caught up with a couple of episodes. The next one was called Brain Drain. And Stephen Christopher, you may have seen in the Horror Hangout group, asked if I'd seen this episode yet because the ending was like a gut punch.
Oh.
And I can confirm, I mean, spoilers if you're not watching, if you're watching this live, skip 30 seconds, everyone. Don't go into this one unprepared. If you're just living vicariously through my reviews, though, this is one where there is a scientist who's doing some rather unethical experiments on people who, I believe they use other words, but they're doing an experiment on brain function with a guy that has a low IQ.
Mm.
He just happens to be showing an antique that he bought many years ago, and it's something an old quack had purchased with the idea that it could help transfer intelligence from one person to another, a bit like, obviously, a very influential series. It's effectively the plot of Batman Forever. There is a machine that can suck the intelligence out of people and give it to this one man.
Yeah.
The only difference is, because this is a horror-coded late 80s thing, is that it gets the intelligence from them, not with a green laser, but by sticking a needle into the back of the neck and literally slurping out their cerebral spinal fluid and giving them the intelligence. Yeah, and they die.
Yeah.
in like a horrible, painful death. So like basically they have terrible brain damage and either get caught up in an accident fairly quickly, like the first guy who was the victim stumbles into traffic, or die of their injuries a few hours later. This isn't the tragedy. This guy just keeps getting smarter and smarter, and he's evading the guys as they try and work out where the antique is, and he's taken over the research. But Jack runs into an old flame. She's got a museum. They were once engaged then, and she wanted Jack to give up everything and come away with her to study languages in Kenya. He couldn't give up his life that he was living at the time. And now they're both.
This isn't the old flame.
This is the old fellow. Yeah, this is Jack.
Oh.
This is Jack, the old fella, and they get back together. They have a lovely dinner together. They go, "Oh, bloody our age, we can't afford to pussyfoot about." Her words. Said, "Right, do you want to come back to my place?" They have a lovely time. The next day, he proposes to her. Says we should get married and spend the years we've got together. And she goes, "Oh, let's just go and do something really nice." He goes, "Okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I've got to go and work tonight." Get ready, everybody. Spoilers time. Tragedy upon tragedies. The guy fucking gets her. Sucks her brain out with the thing.
No, well, she actually dies.
Yeah, Jack is right. He's going to kill him.
I'm fuming.
He's going to kill him, but ultimately, she spares him the thing. Like even in her incapacitated state, she pulls the lever, and he just gets his brain destroyed. He is killed, and it just ends on a really sad note where they have another of those sad Law and Order endings, where Mickey and Ryan are going like, "Oh, I'm really sorry that this didn't work out," and he's quite zen about it. He's he's been around the block. He's like, "Well, at least now you finally know if there's something is on the other side. You wait a while and maybe we'll catch up again in the future." And it just ends on a sad picture of her face in her obituary with the engagement ring next to her.
Oh my God.
And just sad credits.
I mean, that is pretty sad, but then again, at least they weren't like together for years. And then
yeah. Oh, they're an old thing, so he had a big fondness for her.
Oh.
And they were gonna start a new life together, but then she was killed. And then I'll only mention this in passing because it's a two-parter and I have about 20 minutes to finish it still. But I'm currently watching the first two-parter the series has offered me with the title of this. I'm going to ask you the guessing game and I'll confirm next week, Ben. What do you think is going to be the setup of this two-part adventure? The Quilt of Hathor.
It's going to be a quilt.
Yeah, what does the quilt do you think?
The quilt kills you.
In what way?
The quilt, basically, anytime you spend asleep under the quilt, that I don't know. Am I on the right lines or not?
Well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there is a deal with sleeping under the quilt. I'll tell you that much.
Sleeping under the quilt. Like,
what might it do? What might it be able to do for someone to abuse that power?
Reverses your aging.
Oh, a bit like the cover tea we had in an early episode.
Yeah, reverses your aging. You spend an hour under there, you reverse by 1 year. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you all about it when I cover both parts of it.
Oh, okay, you're gonna make me wait. All right, okay.
Next, I can tell you. I can tell you what it's about if you like. It features a Amish style Puritan community.
Yeah.
Save
it for me. Save it for me.
I'll save it for you, and I'll tell you after I've seen
Please.
The epic conclusion. It's been gripping so far, though.
Yes. Was that everything?
And that is it, Ben, for another week. Apart from,
Okay,
of course.
Then. Apart from the film of the week, which is Fear Street Prom Queen, a 2025 American slasher film written by Matt Palmer, and it's based on the novel The Prom Queen from the Fear Street book series written by R.L. Stine. It stars India Fowler, Suzanna Son, Fina Strazza, David Iacono, Ariana Greenblatt, Lili Taylor, and Katherine Waterston, and Chris Klein, of course, of American Pie. American Pie fame, set in 1998, the plot focuses on a mass killer who targets the prom queen candidates of Shadyside High on the night of their senior dance. IMDb 5.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 27% audience score, 25% critic score. It's pretty harsh. Letterboxd 1.7 out of 5.
Ooh.
Cinema Joe says about 180s needle drops to hide its inept direction and a sourceless performance. And sourceless performances, 1.5 stars. Wallflowers says the dance off was kind of unnecessary. 3 stars. Yeah, we'll get to that. Jay says the last breath of 80s throwback media until Stranger Things fires the final bullet. 1.5 stars. That was the point that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I feel
That's what's got it in your head, is it?
Like once Stranger Things is done, people are going to be like, we're done for a while. And Hanakin Skywalker says, no lesbians in Fear Street. What's next? No vampires in Twilight? 1.5 stars. I feel like, just from looking at that group of characters behind you, I only watched it last Friday. I've forgotten everyone. I don't remember anyone in this film. Like, I remember the main character and her friend.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
Everyone has, Ben. If in doubt with the names, everyone has like I like 80s horror reference theme name. Everyone is like called Laurie Carpenter or Chucky, aka the doll from Child's Play, a movie from the 80s. Smith.
This feels like the most, like, again, we talk about AI, we talk about AI prompts, and we talk about things. This feels like every Prom Queen movie from the 80s has been put into a prompt, and then this has come out, like, the script, at least, not the visuals, but like the script, because it's so generic, and I don't even know if it feels like it's in the 80s. It feels like it's set in some weird, like, Never realm.
I feel like there's a couple of very deliberate choices for to tie you to the 80s, but it feels like those phrases or like buzzwords are used in complete isolation, and then everyone just talks like it's 2025 the rest of the time.
Exactly. Everyone definitely talks like it's 2025. Everything kind of just looks like it's 2025. Like all the sets kind of look 2025, but like they'll have a Patrick Swayze poster up or something else that goes, oh, don't forget, it's 1988. And I feel like the other Fear Street films did really well at like setting the scene in terms of where they were set and what era they were from, and kind of felt like connected. I don't know. This feels, I don't know. It's a few years after that trilogy, but
the abandonment of the connection, especially as it's meant to occur within the period of the fact that we have the Shadyside Sunnydale curse, did feel a little bit jarring, because obviously this is set in 1988, 1987.
Yeah.
So this is set in 1988, I think. So this would be, and there's a clue, there's a bit in the film that goes, oh, will anyone ever break the Shadyside curse? I'm like, absolutely they will in 1996, lads. So
yeah, just 8 years. That's
just wait 8 years, and then that bit where everything's shit in Sunnydale is going to happen, so don't worry. But there isn't a connection to any of this. This feels like it's just something that happened, and I want to be fair, because we've mentioned about the writing and the direction here, and I think this is part of that as well. I've not seen the director Matt Palmer, not just being defensive because he's an English writer based in Edinburgh, Ben, but I haven't seen any of his other films. He has one feature and 2 other shorts to his name. I've not seen any of them to be able to comment, but what this feels like very heavily to me is that it is a writer-director who's been given a very particular brief, has been given a number of things they need to hit, like needle drops, like certain phrases, and was perhaps instructed not to make this a tied-in movie, but to make this something standalone. And I think I can feel where, who is, by all intents and purposes, probably a good writer or director who's have maybe is an early experience being put into sort of corporate restraints.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure. This is what I'm drawing from the clues.
In order that they can make some more, like, make this a Fear Street movie, but don't really tie it into the others so that we
don't give us any required reading. So, like, please don't think that you have to have watched the other three to get this,
Yeah.
you can just go in from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels unnecessary. Like, unfortunately, it just feels a bit like, I think you wrote something on a letterbox saying it was like a bit of a scrapbook of ideas rather than like an actual thing. I don't know, like, in terms of characters, even though you have got like a pretty despicable, horrible bully character in it, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if anything really happens that makes me feel like, is there any real character development? Are there any real relationships here that are explored or put under the cosh, or,
I
various
mean,
tragic
Ben,
things happen?
would you ever, having watched this, don't you all of a sudden feel a lot more forgiving of the depth of character that we previously bemoaned in Nightmare on Elm Street 4?
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
tell you what, you didn't think those characters were very deep, but you could tell, you could list what each one of the hobbies were, couldn't you?
yeah,
There was
exactly.
the
But then
nerdy
again,
one
that
who
felt
developed a laser. There was
yeah.
there was a weightlifting one.
There was a geek character. Did you say the geek character already?
Yeah,
This character's a geek. She's got glasses on.
asthma.
She wants to get her homework done.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this was completely inconsequential in terms of even the characters are like, this fella, he might go out with one of the villain characters, but he actually likes the main character. I was like, well, he's a dickhead as well. There's nothing redeeming about this guy at all. Even the way the main
all the
character kind of
worst.
treats her friend, like, there wasn't like a way for her to learn and grow and adapt, and there was none of that. It was kind of like, treats a friend like shit. Friend gets a bit pissed off. Oh no, the killer's attacking. What's that? We've survived. Well, so what?
I think also the scaling of this, we're not like, well, the characters don't get any room to grow because the entire film takes place in, it's, I think, on paper 2 days, but nominally a day and a half.
By the
Like,
time
we don't build up to the prom for weeks. It's literally like, prom's in 2 days.
yeah, and then the film it starts. The prom starts what feels like half an hour in. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're building up to prom night, and then suddenly it's like,
It's
bang,
prom night now.
it's prom night now. And also, the title of it is doing my head in, because the amount of times I've said Fear Street Prom Night has been more times than I've said Fear Street Prom Queen. Unfortunately,
You got Hello Mary Sue on the brain, then the true
I have
prom
got
night.
Hello Mary Sue on the brain, exactly. Okay, so in terms of characters, we've got India Fowler as Laurie Granger, which is like, even saying that name out loud, that's like, that name exists in media somewhere, doesn't it? Laurie Granger. Come on. Suzanna Son is Megan Rogers, Laurie's best friend. Fina Strazza is Tiffany Falcon and Laurie's rival. There are a lot of characters in this who like kind of get killed off. Like Ariana Greenblatt's in this film, who was obviously in Infinity War as Baby Gamora. That's not the one.
Baby Gamora.
Baby Gamora, but she's in Barbie. She's in the Barbie movie, and she's in, I think it's how do you say Asuka from? I'm saying the wrestler version. Ahsoka. How do you say her name?
Ahsoka, the Star Wars one.
Yeah, she's in that. So she's like quite a big name. And then also we've got Ella Rubin, who was recently the lead in Until Dawn as well. So she was, but these are characters who seem to get killed off quite quickly. In terms of people you might recognize, Chris Klein is Dan Falconer, Tiffany's father and a teacher. He is Oz from American Pie. Weird to see him all big and grown up. Not that I've seen, I probably don't know if I've seen him in anything else since that.
Just American Pie films.
Just American Pie films. Katherine Waterston, right? I didn't recognize her. This is the power of hair, because Katherine Waterston is obviously in Alien Covenant, and I think I mentioned this last week, in Alien Covenant as the lead in that film. Didn't recognize her in this film as Katherine Waterston until right at the very end, when I was like, oh my god, that's her hairstyle.
Didn't recognize it until you said that then.
Yep, you didn't. No, see, there we go. That's the power of hair.
And she's in Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Gay Wizard Hitler.
Yeah. And then Lili Taylor of, The Conjuring, amongst other things, is the vice principal, Dolores Breckenridge. Great name. And I think that's it in terms of names you might recognize. A lot of young people in this film who aren't necessarily believable as having existed in the 80s, because they didn't. And I think I also read another review which said something like, everyone in this film, I know that they're aware of what TikTok is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're just not going to mention it because they're pretending to be the 80s for a minute.
Yeah. and the needle drops are like gratuitous, aren't they?
Don't give the wrong needle drop then, though, because otherwise that jock is going to who doesn't want to do the DJing at the party, but wants to exclusively not enjoy the party to monitor the guy who is the DJ to make sure he only plays music that he wants him to.
Hey, have you got the aux cable? Yeah, I have. Only play my playlist. Well, actually, I'm in charge of the aux cable, so I'll play whatever I want. No, you bloody won't. I'll beat you up.
Don't play any weird music like really popular artist Prince. And don't play any of that.
What would be weird? What's that song that goes do 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 do? You just play that.
Oh,
he'll play that over and over again for an hour.
Hot Popcorn by Hot Butter by Popcorn, or whichever.
That's exactly what it is.
I mean,
that'd be mad.
Trivia for you: first record my dad ever bought. Apparently, don't know why I know that.
Oh my god! Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield. You playing that?
Don't play
Tubular Bells, mate. What year is it? 1988. You played the Raiders of the Lost Ark soundtrack by John Williams. This is a bloody prom. Get some tunes on, mate. Oh.
Yeah, listen, I want Superman by Black Grape. Not Black Grape. Black Lace.
Black Lace. Superman. Spray.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth. He's micromanaging the bloody playlist. Like, I can imagine it, that if it was your wedding and you'd hired a DJ to play, and you might want to micromanage it a bit. You might want to go, don't play any Ed Sheeran. Don't play, please don't.
But that's not your wedding. This is the school prom. And then also the other issue I had with this is that the guy playing the DJ appears to be 30. So, why are you letting this kid give you bollocks?
A few of them appear to be 30. I mean, even the fella who was doing the bollocking, trying to get him today, he seemed a bit older than that. He had what was his haircut as well? He had an interesting haircut going on.
Little ponytail, Slater from Saved by the Bell.
Slater. And even unfortunately, like the killer is just obviously hit in the background of my screen here. Just a guy in a red Mac, like the little person in Don't Look Now.
Could you thematically link this to anything else in the series? Is it the mascot of the school? Is it just a red devil Macman?
Yeah, it's weird. It's the red mask. It's like one of those weird, creepy masks where it's like a devil mask. It looks a bit like all the band members of Ghost. They all wear that mask, I think. It's just like aesthetically, yeah, it looks pretty cool. But I don't know. I don't know.
And like Wishmaster doing a big nostril flare. Wishmaster, as played by Ken Williams.
We're obviously going to spoil it as well, but like there are multiple versions of him.
Yeah.
Or her. There are multiple versions, which I kind of saw coming. And I feel like, again, all of those things, it just feels a bit like, okay, we've seen it before. And that's why I say it feels like an AI prompt of a script, because just the way, even the way the dance-off happens and where it appears in a really tense moment.
In a real tense moment where you would refuse to dance with that woman I hate.
Do a dance off with me now. Oh, I know I've just done some horrible shit to you, but do a dance off. Fuck off, leave me alone. It's jarring, is what it is.
What I need to know is, now I want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting the culture with which this film was intended to align, because it's not mine. I feel like even with bullies and stuff, even if you're a bit intimidated by them, there comes a point, especially when you're not actively intimidated by them, you're rivals. As it said, it's not like that you're actively afraid of this bully girl. It's just that she's horrible to you and you don't like her.
Yeah.
American listeners, do let me know. Do you not just tell people to fuck off that you hate at school?
Yeah. Well, I think people do. Yeah, that's the thing.
Because that's what you do. So, dance off. You go, no, you're being a bitch. Oh.
Well, I can understand if someone was like, so clearly this character is manipulative, and her parents are in positions of somewhat power within the school where they can probably like fiddle the books a bit to get her what she wants. But she's so unbelievably unlikable.
Exactly. I would feel like even if your parents are in position, no one appears to like her that much, apart from that one couple. Yeah, even her friends don't like her. So I don't think she would even be in the running. Be like, oh no, maybe there's a lesson you need to learn here. And I would have,
Yeah.
again, I think we saw this in very successfully in the first Fear Street movie. Those characters who you think are going to be bullies or antagonists, actually, you
Yeah.
learn as the film goes on that actually they've got shit going on and they're more complicated, but actually they come together for a good cause at the end.
Like
Whereas,
and again, I know this
what's
is
what's her name?
it's
Sorry, Ben.
sorry, go on.
The,
Which character?
the bully.
The bully is Tiffany. Tiffany
So
Tharp.
Tiffany basically has Stephen King antagonist levels of psychosis
Yeah.
that is like completely unhinged.
Yeah. But also, like, just going back to last week, or sorry, the week before, Final Destination Bloodlines, where we're talking about a lot of great characters who are all pulling in the same direction and don't need to be assholes, don't need to be making quips every 5 minutes, don't need to be actively, like, genuinely bad people. And it doesn't affect the film at all. In fact, it makes you root for everybody a bit more and, experience it a bit better. It just feels like this level of like hatred and rivalry between characters. Like, I can understand it. It's high school. It's the 80s. I know we're kind of like doing everything that's come before, but I just feel like there's something about this that left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth where I was like, oh, I kind of just hate everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's little bits as well that maybe took me out of it. It was a bit of a film. So there's a bit later where we get a character who's not really been seen apart from in a little bit. So later, when they team up, because he just happens to be having a cigarette with a young man by the name of Spider,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we have a comment of like, "Oh, are you hiding from?" I forget he's hiding from his girlfriend's name. And I was watching this with Karen, and she went, "So who's his girlfriend meant to be?" And I said, "Hang on, let me just look it up." Oh, this Asian character, Spider, yeah, his girlfriend is the only other Asian character that's been seen. Woe betide, you not pair,
Yeah.
everyone is paired up quite so
But
perfectly.
then again, is it like one of those things where it is kind of like adhering to those cliches a little bit of these films? And again, I don't necessarily think it's doing it on purpose. I feel like it's just doing it again, which makes me it just feels a bit disingenuous. Something about it. It's a bit. It was a weird one. It definitely didn't make me. I thought it was maybe going to be a bit of good fun and a bit of silliness, and maybe be like poking fun at this kind of subgenre of slasher, which is a high
Yeah,
school slash prom slasher.
I think we've started on the negatives, and I don't want to say that it's
I
without
ain't got
redeeming
nothing left to say,
features.
mate.
No, there's I still think the series as a whole goes harder on the gore and kills than I ever expected.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
a an adaptation of a 90s young adult fiction series that was to bridge the gap between Goosebumps and Stephen
yeah.
King
Do
books.
you feel like a lot of modern films are just doing that now? A lot of modern films are taking gore a lot more seriously and going, this is what people want to see. They don't want to see kills off screen. They don't want to see just like someone getting stabbed and fall over. People want to see nasty shit. And I felt like that with Until Dawn as well. Like, I didn't necessarily expect it to go as hard as it did with some of the gore, and I felt like that with this as well.
I feel two parts, Ben. One of them is yes, it is that filmmakers want to have fun with gore effects and so on,
Mm.
and to give people what they want, which is a scare and a shock. In a more cynical sense, I also feel that to a degree, because these are Netflix produced movies, especially, is there is some degree of chasing algorithmically friendly clippability to
Yeah,
this.
I
I
see
think
exactly what
there
you
is
mean.
I think there is almost a very deliberate courting of being on, and not saying this to bemoan their work because it's good work and I've enjoyed countless hours of it, but
Yeah.
making yourself onto a Watch Mojo top 10. You want to make,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Watch Mojo's top 10 most violent horror kills of movies of the 2020s. And
yeah.
we'll probably get the hand chopping or the leg chop
Mm.
from this film,
Oh yeah, the
looking for
hand shot,
and
yeah.
and they happen in quick succession that you could do in a 30-second clip.
Mm.
Um, so I really think there is a degree of chasing that type of thing as well. If I can just be serious for a minute.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into the plot then. So it's set in 1988. The senior class of Shadyside High School prepare for their prom. Laurie Granger she signed up to run for prom queen against a popular girl group, not like All
Little
Saints.
Mix.
Little Mix, All Saints. I want a bit further back. Nicknamed the Wolf Pack, consisting of ruthless Queen Bee, Tiffany Falconer, and her friends Melissa McKendrick, Debbie Winters, and Linda Harper. Do you see what I mean? Like, that is AI rotting my brain to the point where I read that and I go, Chat GPT wrote that, for God's sake. It's rotting my brain as well, and I need to avoid it at all costs. Anyway, Laurie, so she's an outcast by her fellow students due to rumours of her mother allegedly murdering her father, although she was deemed innocent. Innocent till proven guilty.
Deemed innocent and then appears to be a policewoman?
Is that right?
She's in a uniform when she goes to work. Maybe it's a hospital uniform.
Yeah, community police officer. I don't know.
Yeah. She's off telling people not to park or drop litter.
So what was supposed to? So I think it's something like her dad went to the same school as her mum. Wait. Do you know what the backstory is?
Yeah, basically, her dad died. Laurie was born young to her mother because she was a teenage pregnancy.
Laurie was born young.
Yeah, Laurie was born young, as was her mom, young at the time.
Yeah.
And her dad died on their prom night, and her mom was alleged to have committed the crime, but ultimately...
It's weird that it holds so much weight, doesn't it? Like, can you imagine going, my dad died. When did he die? He died on my high school prom night. And they go, what? That's not a big deal. Why have you remembered that piece of information?
And why are people, I assume, 16 to 18 years later, bringing it up?
Yeah.
And also, to put in graphic detail as well, and I know it made sense later when you find out that a dad is the teacher, but the very fact that you can disrupt class to go, oh yeah, just like your mom was a murderer at that time, and then in grave detail quietly bully this kid about the fact that also, do you bully people for thinking they're a murderer? It's like, oh, you're a psycho, so I'll probably leave you alone.
Yeah. I think this person might have done a murder, yeah. Oh, right.
Should we tease them about it?
I don't think it was you. So,
oh, murder face.
Dad died. Mum obviously didn't kill him.
Yeah, because she is not in prison. But yeah, the other students, or rather one student in particular, bullies her about having a murdered dad.
Yeah, that's right. Vice Principal Breckenridge, who is played by Lili Taylor, she intends for the prom to reinvent Shadyside in spite of the town's poor reputation. Is this just because of loads of horrible stuff happening over?
She meant to be coded as a little bit coded as Carrie's mom.
Yeah, I guess so.
And she has a religious son.
Religious, yeah, a bit religious. Yeah, I think
so. The other kids, yeah, what's he? You know, they ask the son, in Korea's day, what you did for Korea? He goes, wank off over Jesus, actually. And the teacher doesn't go, actually, bearing in mind you're in a town that is notoriously cursed, that no one makes anything of their lives. Priest's probably not a bad job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, well, we'll have a wank over Jesus, all right?
Yeah, thanks. Well, maybe I'll avoid the terrible curse that drags this town down for another 8 years at this point.
I think this film does a really weird job of like establishing who everyone is, because even by the time that Christy Reno, who's played by Ariana Greenblatt, is killed, I'm a bit like, who's this? I've seen her. I know who Ariana Greenblatt is, but I'm a bit like, I've seen her in this film, but why is she getting killed? I don't know.
Yeah, the people who do get killed in this film, I would say 3 of them, so Goody, Baddie, and Best Friend, get some development. After that, the next developed character is maybe Spider, that man who they meet.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just, you're described as being the smart one, the Wolfpack's mouthpiece, or her sycophant friend.
Dealing a bit of marijuana on the side. So,
and her boyfriend's 30.
And her boyfriend's 30 years old. It was the 80s when that happened a lot. My boyfriend's going to pick me up after school. Excuse me?
I mean, you say it happened a lot in the 80s. That happened a lot in 1997 when I was at school.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
meant. Yeah.
When I was hanging about in 1997, going, oh, I think this girl's really nice, who is 15 like me at the time. Oh, her boyfriend's 23, mate. Oh, that's I remember sitting there going, Corey must be cool.
Cool, he must be a bloody legend. I want to be like him when I'm older. And he's just waiting outside the school all day on his BMX.
For your girlfriend to finish in your absolutely banged up Vauxhall Nova that's been done in Battleship Grey and lowered ever so slightly.
This feels like an actual memory of yours, Andy.
Oh, this is an actual memory. I'm not going to name any names, but thankfully, Ben, like,
names, but you know they are.
Then you can catch up when you're 23, and thankfully, I'm happy to confirm. Once I did 23 years old, I had zero desire to date any 15-year-olds or have a burnt up Nova.
I'm glad to hear it on both fronts. So yeah, she gets killed by a masked assailant. Do we see it? Someone in a red Macintosh at this point?
So yeah, she's basically positioned as the favourite to win Prom Queen, right? And then we immediately see her because her thing, dealing a bit of weed. After she does a drug deal to some kids over in Sunnydale, she's like, dickheads, pay double.
Dickheads in Sunnydale, yeah.
Yeah, you dickheads. You think it's been like, oh no, we don't want to give you a drive through Shadyside. We might get like robbed.
Yeah.
So then she just immediately she stops in the middle of a playground. She of course walks across like through an ominous playground that's like very briefly in Silent Hill or whatever, because it's the spookiest part of town.
Very spooky. Yeah.
And she stops and says, "Who's there?" Looks around in 3 of the 4 possible compass directions. She goes, "Right, there's nothing to the north of me after I've asked who's there. Let me just check to my left. Nope. All clear. Let me just check to the right. Nope. Also all clear. I won't move on at this point. I will just stand here still for a moment to recenter myself before continuing on and before she finishes that thought. Big old axe in the back. Axed.
Pretty brutal, eh? What way to go.
Yeah.
So she's done. She's done for. Probably like one of the most recognizable actors.
Yeah.
Especially of the younger characters, is immediately done for. The following day, Laurie. See, this is it. The following day, Laurie
is prom day.
Prom. Yeah. So her best friend is Megan Rogers. There was a bit earlier where she like staged a prank in the class, like made it look like she was chopping her hand off.
Basically Stan Winston, her best mate.
Yeah, her best mate Stan Winston, and she's like kind of like androgynous looking. She slicks her hair back when she goes to the prom. There's always a character like that.
And she's going to be a prom date, isn't it? Because this is going to have to cause tension a bit later.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she's going to be her prom date because they both think prom is stupid and lame.
Well, this is the thing. Like her and Laurie seem to agree that prom is stupid and lame, but as time goes on, you're like, Laurie's taking this bloody seriously. She wants to be prom queen. How dare you? We're supposed to make a mockery of this night, and you're over there trying to.
You're there doing exactly what we planned to do, even though I've changed my mind on the day.
Yeah, even though I've changed my mind on the day. Oh, God.
And then the other bit of preparation we get is, so, she's done this. She's done the prank where she pretended to chop her own hand off and does a prosthetic.
Yeah.
Trick on everyone, which makes our Scream Queen, old Falconer, the baddie.
Yeah.
Have a fit at school and be really scared. We've seen that happen. She's getting ready to. She's going to get ready to do another prank on the day.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to prom. They're going to go to prom together. But the other thing we see her working on something big, right? As they look to choose a dress.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the other bit of setup we do is that also Laurie secretly loves the boyfriend of her enemy, and when she goes to a restaurant job, she looks at him while they're cooking the fries.
Oh yeah,
looking all dreamy, isn't he?
And he's looking all dreamy, and I think they just give her a bit of jip, as you would, as saying, just put the fries in the bag, bro, something like that.
Oh, it's also like so it happens that she brings over the food, and then in classic bit of bully joking, she goes, "Oh, waitress, can I have an extra fries, please?"
can I have an extra fries, please? Can I have one singular extra fry, please? And she goes, no, sorry.
That's genuinely what she asks. She asks her for some more fries, but I guess it's rude that she calls her a waitress. And then Laurie goes back to the kitchen, kind of dejected, and the chef taps her on the shoulder as if to say, "Don't worry, spitting all that food."
Don't worry, I've gulped in all that food.
Yeah. The oil that these fries have been broiling away in, 90% gauze.
Pure gauze.
Yep.
Gutted.
That's what you do. Like everyone, if you're rude to people at restaurants, this is what happens. That's trouser food.
It's trouser food. It's also established that Laurie and Tiffany live opposite each other. There's a bit where like Tiffany's out for a run and she runs over to Laurie, and I'm like, are they friends?
She runs over and says, "Oh hey, I just thought I'd come over and tell you to fuck off for the day."
It's literally that. It's literally that. It's so bad.
And she's like, "Oh, I just."
She's coming over to make amends. No, she's coming over.
Just threats like the weasels in Roger Rabbit. She's like, "I'll hang you and your laundry out to dry."
I figured you got shit knees. I reckon you bloody stink. You got stink lines and everything.
You're doing a running of a law tracksuit, love. Get out of it. I know it's the 80s. There'll be a Rick Astley needle drop in a minute to prove it, but
absolutely ridiculous.
Leave it alone, will you?
What? So talking of needle drops, right? What have we got? So we've got the Rick Astley. I want to see if I can have a look at what the official.
So look, what's on the soundtrack?
I'll have a little look now. So, well, this is playlist inspired by thing, but yeah. So there's a lot of like Power Glove, Billy Idol, Judas Priest, Rick Astley, Roxette, The Look. That's a good one. Bananarama, Tiffany. I think we're alone now. Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran. I mean, they're all good songs and good artists, but like it is a lot of obvious choices, isn't it? Like literally Never Gonna Give You Up, Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics. Yeah, there's a Gloria. I was getting confused. There's a few songs called Gloria in there, but
they do a dance off to Gloria, don't they?
Yeah, they do. What's that?
Which is the same song that they use, unfortunately, to better effect at. Is it the ending of Maxine, Gloria?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can remember.
If not the ending, it's the one that she puts on the radio after she punches the shit out of Kevin Bacon with her keys.
Oh. What song do they do the dance in this film to when they're all in the American flag? Like
She's Got the Look is when She's Got the Look, and then Gloria is the dance off.
That's very Mean Girls code, isn't it? That particular thing. And also, is like a pretty religious vice principal going to let him get away with that? I don't know.
Yeah. Also, bearing in mind that there are 6 candidates for Prom Queen. There is the favourite, murdered. There is the outsider, Laurie.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 are the main baddie and her 3 friends.
Yeah.
It's not left-wing politics, mate. They're splitting the vote between them.
They're splitting the vote, exactly. Not only are they splitting the vote, like what happens if like one of them ends up being the favourite, but they obviously want the boss of the 3, Tiffany, to win. It's going to be like when Kevin Nash lied down and let Hulk Hogan pin him in WCW all over again.
Yeah, well, they're gonna split the vote because everyone's gonna have a favourite. And then also, if you are genuinely because you want to win, as a couple of them seem to.
Yeah,
that's the only bit of character we see from them. The other 2 that get killed, they sort of wanted to win themselves. Why did you agree to be in a coordinated dance with matching outfits to She's Got the Look to promote your leader?
Yeah, you try and fuck it up for her or something.
Sabotage it, or just say, if I want you to win, I'm not going to be in it, or I don't want, or I do want to win. Let's do our own thing.
Yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it? It is a bit mad.
So that's, I mean, we'll get to it. That's the prom thing. So we've had it all set up. They all go up on stage to be introduced as the prom queen contestants, with the exception of the girl that has been murdered. And let me be clear, does not appear in the film again.
No, that's it. No one seems to even care, right? Is it her boyfriend?
A boyfriend turns up later to go, I've been dating that girl for 2 months and I haven't seen her for 2 days now. Even though you saw me in an earlier scene when I wasn't worried.
I'm worried.
Earlier today.
It's because he's had a lot of time to think about it, or his mates have, rather than his mates being will make him feel better, they've made him feel worse.
His mates will have to go to work.
I reckon she's dead. Oh no, his mates will have to go to work. And in this moment, this is when they do the performance, and Laurie's just kind of like stood in the background awkwardly, isn't she?
What I love is that as part of their choreography, they've included a bit that had anticipated that Laurie would try and leave the stage, where they sort of get in her face and John Cena her.
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird. I hated this. I'll tell you what though, despite the fact that I find the characters like pretty lame, I guess.
I do like them in
genuinely
American Flyer leotards. That's what you think?
No, I'm saying it genuinely made me dislike these characters. Like, even though it's only really the main one that I really remember, like I did dislike her to the point where I was like, "Oh, this stupid bitch, what's going on?" Just I thought she's almost a caricature of a villain, really, isn't she?
Yeah. So after that dance scene, one of them, it's not Tiffany, it's perhaps Christy Renault.
Christy Renner. So it's Melissa McKendrick, who is played by Ella Rubin from Until Dawn, and the other friend is Debbie Winters, maybe. I don't know.
Is it Linda?
Yeah, maybe Linda.
She has blonde hair. So Linda, she's the smart one of the wolf pack.
Oh wait, no, because it was the blonde one was like her fan. Remember, she had like two.
Oh yeah,
the guy and the girl, and again they were like proper dickheads.
Yeah, no one likes it. So either way, whichever one. I think this is bad. I've got the cast in front of me and the character names, and I can't tell you.
So that the friends are. So I think Debbie Winters is like one of the main friends, and then the other ones are. Oh no, wait, I've got it incorrect. Apologies. So Claire and Gerald are Tiffany's supporters. So the ones going around basically cold calling the tables.
Yeah.
Going, who are you going to vote for then? We're going to be really rude and pushy and go, well, obviously you're going to vote for our friend Tiffany, aren't you? Well, I was going to, but I'm not going to now because you've come over.
Because I hate you.
You feel awkward and now I hate you. So now I'm going to transfer my hatred for them, for me.
To you.
To you.
Who do you got to vote for? Not them. Okay.
Not them. Anyone else? No.
So is Linda the clever friend?
Yeah. Let's just say yes.
Yes. So
yes.
Linda.
Asterix.
So Linda, allegedly, she is the one who has good grades, which means that Tiffany has good grades too. After doing this dance routine with her, she comes off stage and is getting on at her boyfriend. Where are my flyers? Because I'm not going to win this if my flyers aren't going out.
Thank God, flyering doesn't bloody work.
Dropping propaganda like it's North Korea.
Yeah, I remember it, right. It's our horrible band career discussion now. I remember we played a gig at a venue that like we used to play all the time. And to the point where like I guess all the promo work we used to do was we did some flyering occasionally. I remember some like this agency that we were working with were like, you got to go out flyering for like 3 days before the gig, and we were probably like, oh, for God's sake, it's a bit like it's embarrassing, isn't it? You want to come to our gig? Genuinely, you get like very occasionally we did that. You'd see someone who you gave a flyer to, and you'd be so shocked that they came. You'd just be like, what the hell? Basically, what I'm saying is flyering, bearing in mind paper as well. What a waste of resource. I'm going to say. Bloody pointless, especially in this, maybe in the 80s it might have worked. In this day and age, forget it. Just get yourself an Instagram ad.
Yeah. Flyer.
Hit the right people. Don't hit the people on the high street who just want to get a Greg's pasty and go home. You want to come to this metal gig at 9 p.m. tonight, even though it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon in the city? You got to go home and come back. Nah. Nah.
Nah.
So yeah, flyering doesn't work.
Yeah, so unfortunately, no one's. I mean, it's only 1988. She doesn't know that flyering doesn't work at this point. And also, her boyfriend useless. So her boyfriend, not Chad, possibly Judd or Bobby.
Chad and Judd. I mean, that's mad, isn't it? That is mad. Come on. Chat GPT, try harder at writing this script.
Right, I'm going to go with Bobby, maybe as her boyfriend, or Devin. Bobby. Let's say Bobby.
Yeah.
So he's like, these flyers are somewhere, and then turns out some wrong'un has put them all in a science class and done horrible rude graffiti on her, like draw like a twiddly mustache and glasses on her.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's like, what? Someone's gonna pay for this, and she storms off into the darkness of this classroom.
Yeah.
Only to her, there was the thumping sound, and then she comes back, holding her guts in.
Oh, yeah, holding her bloody guts in. A thumping sound. She's had her guts thumped out.
Yeah, she had her guts thumped out, in such a way that she's only able to stagger silently towards her boyfriend, and then hold her hands out to collapse. Is unable at this point to say, "Buddy, Mac the knife stabbed my guts out."
Stabbed me guts to bits. When Megan stages a prank with like a severed head as well, has that happened already? Or was
It's meant to be this girl. I think we're red herringed into thinking it might be her real head, because obviously the audience
apparently
knows
there's a copy of Tiffany's head here, so it might be the main.
Oh, is it?
Fully, but yeah, I guess I thought at this moment it was just the head of whoever had been killed recently.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'd been red herringed by that one, but
Yeah.
a boyfriend,
That's quite interesting.
not in the running for prom queen, but is, I don't know, I guess no loose ends as far as the killer's concerned. So he goes, right, I need to do a creative kill. I've axed 2 people so far. I need to get you in a different way. So he guillotines his hands off with dangerous school supplies.
Yeah, I mean, they're never that sharp, are they? Those things. This is like the bluntest blade ever. I mean, it would be agony. You'd be like, oh god, smashing my arm off rather than cutting it off. But yeah, cuts it straight off.
Obviously, that's just been sharpened. And then I think maybe the funniest bit of the film for me, like when he's had both of his hands chopped off and he's trying to escape the classroom, but obviously has no hands.
I've got no hands. Yeah, devastated. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So he gets devoed by that. And I noticed this is the first of many examples. When the killer first comes in, they do a little bit like chasing your dog around the dining table, you know, where he tries to go left and right. And every single interaction this killer has with someone, they always do that. Like you're walking someone down the high street and you both go the same way.
I always commit to the right every time. Even if it means you bump into him, always commit to the right.
If you bump into them, do you link arms and Can't I Joe round and then spin off in your own directions?
If they want to, I'm definitely up for that.
That'd be normalize that. Instead of doing that dance, actually just put your arm out, spin around, and say, "Where do you come from? Where do you go? High five, leave.
High five, leave. See you later. Goodbye. All the best." Now.
That was a good creative kill, wasn't it? I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Around about now, Laurie receives flowers from an anonymous sender and the bloke delivering the flowers, ever such a misery gets. Who are they from? He goes, I don't fucking know. Fucking swivel on that, you kid.
Yeah. I mean, even if you'd said, I don't know, I'm just a delivery man.
I don't know, there's a card though. And
yeah.
the card like says,
it says, don't choke, smiley face.
Don't choke. I think Tiffany comes by and gives her a bit more shit about her mum's past. Says something like, flowers, is it?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I realised there's got to be another kill before this, because after that, the first murder happens. Laurie and her friend get a bollocking because of the fake head.
Yep.
And they say now,
old bollocking. Oh, so a fake head's out of order, but dancing in your swimwear on the thing in a high school, by the way, is fine.
Yeah.
Also, red herring janitor.
Yeah. Murderous looking janitor.
Murderous looking janitor, always bloody mopping the floor or wherever he is. Get out of here! It's the prom. You don't need a mop.
Sweep up after.
Also, can we also talk about the minuscule amount of alcohol that's poured into the punch bowl, and everyone acting like they've been spiked.
Yeah.
Bloody hell! Whoa! So smashed. He put one. He put one like 50 milliliter bottle of something into a massive bowl of punch.
They've got like a little bottle of 2020 and poured it into literally, and that's what you poured into that 8-gallon tub
What's
of
that?
punch.
Oh, I can feel that. I'm drunk. That's literally-
You've got a high school's worth of punch, unless that little bottle was literally rubbing alcohol.
Even then, I don't. Even then, look kind of crazy.
You put a bottle of Pernod in there, and then he's like, yeah, people are like, oh, I'm going crazy.
Absolutely, he's paralleling this guy.
Yeah, so
the
they're
other
all
kill is Debbie and her boyfriend Judd. So Judd's like, let's go to this creepy old basement.
Judd is the one that has got absolute dibs on the playlist.
Yeah, he's the one who's like, you better play bloody. What does he say? No, he just says don't play anything shit, and then
It's, don't play any of your weird stuff like Prince or Run DMC.
famous popular artist.
Only play these people that I choose.
Only play this droning hum.
Only play Banana Rama's Cruel Summer.
Yeah, backwards, so we can hear the real devil worshipping messages going backwards. So yeah, this is Debbie and Judd. They go to the basement to get it on, and then I can't remember, how does he kill Judd? Just like slice his head in half.
Judd, he gives him for some reason. I was watching this. Maybe his Final Destination has trained me incorrectly. So I was like, they're in a room. There's other chemicals on the floor. They mentioned there might be rats there. Is he going to rat trap him? Is he going to? I don't know. Disc cutter to the face.
Yeah, that's it. Disc cutter to the face, and then Debbie gets Marv in Home Alone 2 electrocuted.
Yeah.
Turns into a skeleton.
Turns into a skeleton. Like Blanca's got her.
Turns into a skeleton. He's dead.
Yeah.
Right. In Home Alone, more realistic film, survives. In this film, dead. Dead from
Also, I mean, how does the devil know that's going to happen? I mean, it is a very flimsy circuit board with like, basically it looks like the World War II operator's station trying to make the telecoms work. Like a very dangerous bare-wired switchboard, which apparently has no fundamental impact how the school's running, because when a girl is tossed onto it and electrocuted to death Blanca style, it just makes the lights flicker for a second.
The lights
and then
flicker for a second. It's
normal.
fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And it looks like for a second, in a different film with different music on, the necklace that she's just been given by Judd, it like has an electrical power, like it's become a magical amulet, I imagine. Bearing in mind, it's a year into, I imagine, like the next day at that school, our friends, Mickey, Ryan, and Jack turned up and captured it and put it back in the vault.
Absolutely. So I think there's a bit where Laurie's like, after Tiffany has a go at her, Melissa's like clearly starting to side with Laurie. She's a bit like, "Oh, come on, lay off. You're out of order. You're being a psychopath." And I think there's a moment where Melissa maybe helps Laurie fix her makeup, and that's when Tiffany
she brings
goes.
her makeup in after Tiffany's had a big go at her and made her cry because she's reminded her about her.
Tiffany gets immediately jealous and goes, "You know what? That dress that you're wearing, she says something like, which I lent you or something like that.
I want my stuff back." She has a cheap dress anyway. She goes, "Well, fuck you then."
What does she sling? And she just like slings a bit of high alcoholic punch.
She slings punch over her dark blue dress, which will not show stains from punch at all.
Yeah.
Therefore, with the exception of being wet, is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Just put it under the dryer for a little while. Is this when the dance off happens?
This is when the dance off happens.
So Melissa goes to the bathroom, and this is
change back into a leotard.
Change back into a leotard, which is fine to wear at this place. And this is the most impromptu, awkward, unnecessary, vibe killing dance off ever. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. I don't think it's played for that.
No.
Even though Tiffany is like not very good at dancing and Laurie ends up winning over the crowd, it's so awkward and unnecessary. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, do we have to?
I mean, Laurie, I will say this, Ben, before I throw criticism on this film, I'm not a dancer, Ben. You're not going to see me
Never claimed
winning
to.
a series of Strictly. You will not be able to buy my dancer size program on any DVD stockists
That's a shame.
available anytime
shame.
soon. But it feels like Laurie has one move that she just does consistently,
Yeah.
which is the move from it's the move from like The Craft or something like that, which is also in the intro to X-Men Evolution. She has that one where she waves her arms around a little bit, and
which is fine, but
looks a bit cool. Whereas her consistency with that move appears to drive Tiffany into an insane rage, and she goes from basically the one dance move she can do, which is a twist and then flip your head back, to moshing uncontrollably in a tempo.
Yeah. And people start laughing, don't they? It's just unnecessary. I feel like you could have had something else completely different to embarrass Tiffany. And it feels like a weird point in the film to suddenly have Laurie win over the crowd and Tiffany get embarrassed. It feels like it should happen a bit later.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like, why would you enter into a dance-off when you're not... Like, why do you enter into a dance-off with a woman you hate?
Yeah.
Why would you enter into a dance-off if you were a terrible dancer? When I was watching this with my wife, she, much like the reviews, she had a very similar outtake. She said, I think they should think long and hard before they have white characters in dance-offs like this. Characters that are this white specifically.
The reason I didn't like it was because there was this dance-off, and then immediately, like, Tyler, her boyfriend, like, breaks up with Tiffany and then approaches Laurie and, like, kisses him. And I don't know, I felt like for an evil character to be, like, on the receiving end of this, of like the shitty end of the stick this early into the film, like, I don't know, I understand her existence in this film. She needed to keep being a twat until the very end when all this stuff all happens at once. And
I could have had this if this had been a lesson for her, and it turns out that actually she's under a lot of pressure, a bit like the other Shadyside characters.
Yeah.
She's placed in a lot of pressure by her parents. Maybe he's, like, as he shows himself to not be a great guy shortly, maybe we've got the wrong end of it. But it isn't. It's just that a mean thing happens to a mean person, and she learns nothing from it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
You know what to turn this film around for me, Ben? More than a terrible dance-off. And won the crowd over. Classic. This should have been the bit where the DJ, freed from the shackles of that guy.
Judd, because Judd's dead.
Because Judd's dead. We don't know, but he's just fucked off, basically, as far as we know.
Yeah.
He could have put something on, like a big crowd pleaser. Oops, upside your head. They could have all been on the floor. Tap on the sides.
Oops.
Back and forward.
Yeah.
I checked. That song came out in 1979, but was popularized in the early 80s. So absolutely in the wheelhouse. They could have done that, and it would have been a fun scene that also won the crowd over. Because if you're there and that person's the one that knows the moves, couldn't have been the Macarena because too early.
Yeah.
But if you've got, hang on, she knows this dance, and we all, regardless of our dancing ability, we've had a great time doing that dance. Now you have shown yourself to be the prom queen, someone who can lead us through the rest of this evening.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that. It does a terrible dance off, and the biggest problem and the scariest thing for me ever, Ben, this is an evening event, right? The voting for the prom queen opens at 11 p.m.
Oh, God.
This is a school event.
Loads of people would have gone home.
11 p.m. Start the voting. Not the polls are open all
10 minutes. Get your votes.
Not the polls are open all night.
No.
And there'll be the polls close at 11. We'll announce the winner. They open at 11. You've got to be watching these prom queen candidates like a hawk to see who gets your love and affection.
Watching everyone.
Ready for the 11 p.m. vote.
Much pressure of how to act the whole evening. So Melissa, who went to get changed in the changing room, she gets attacked by the killer, and then it's revealed very quickly that there are two masked assailants dressed exactly the same. So
She gets cleaved in the face, right?
cleavered in the face, yeah, that's right. She tries to escape, gets cleavered in the face. A little bit later, this is when Megan, so the friend of Laurie, is suspecting that the disappearances of the prom candidates are serial killings being carried out by, I think, so initially, poor old Breckenridge, the vice principal, her religious son Devlin is getting like the finger pointed out.
Yeah, he's one of the red herrings. I think you get in this. You get the creepy janitor, the mother and son religious folks combo. My money was on. Tell me, Vin, do you have a prediction at this point in the film?
I did, and I'm not usually one for getting it right, but I was on the money with this. I felt like I understood. I felt like I knew what was happening because I kept noticing that one of them was missing at certain points.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. So the one
I went
there.
for we'll reveal who it was shortly, everybody. But I went for Laurie's mom and said, "Oh, this would be a fun twist." Actually, did turn to it. But what it turned out was, everybody, I was incorrect because it just turns out that Laurie's mom just disappears from the movie half an hour in.
Yeah,
she says, "Good luck." She says, "Good luck at prom tonight."
She's working. Some people got jobs.
I'll just be off now to not be in the rest of this film.
Yeah. So around about this point, Laurie rejects Megan's theory, and then they start to distance themselves because I think Megan starts realizing, oh, so she's kissed a boyfriend. Now she's taking the prom seriously. She's basically becoming a popular girl, and she's not going to be my friend anymore. And she's going to think I'm a loser.
And the boyfriend, who's just left, Tiffany, just says, "I think you maybe need to distance yourself from Megan because she's always going to hold you back."
Oh, cheers! Thanks for that.
Always going to hold me back, is she?
So much has happened in this evening.
The only person that's shown an actual aptitude or interest in a particular career.
Yeah,
and is already able to make movie level special effects. She's going to hold you back.
What you want to do is do what I do, which is peak in high school, and everything else is just a downwards trajectory from there.
And it doesn't even appear to be. I would say he is coded as being a sports star, but we never see him play a sport. All I really see him have is owns a jacket.
I don't really like the way that it's coded that he's someone to for her to go for. He just seems like another douchebag like the rest of them. I'm not particularly think he's that great.
Although it's implied they have history. It's like, oh, you've always wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
So I've known you for at least one conversation previous to this film.
Yeah, one conversation. Megan, she investigates the basement. She finds the bodies of Debbie, Judd, and red herring number one, the janitor, whose name is Stoker.
Nice.
Laurie and Tyler head to the auditorium, where Tyler tries to initiate sex. Well, the voting's starting soon, but I reckon we could sneak off for a sneaky bit of auditorium sex.
I mean,
but no.
I mean, absolutely, that's a wrong move. Would I go so far as to say he went to initiate sex? So I just
remember. What did he do?
Leaned in to kiss her again.
Oh.
I said, "Hey, I thought you wanted to be."
I think you fancy another kiss, dear. Are you trying to initiate sex? No. Dead. Knife goes in his head.
Stabbed right in the bonds.
The killer chases Laurie. This is where Laurie finds Megan screaming in the basement. Again, this is immediately resolved. So it's like, Megan, I think there's been killings happening. People getting murdered. Laurie's like,
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Let me be the prom queen. Fuck you. Next scene. Resolved. Oh, yeah.
For that with your friends. She's going, look, everyone's allowed to have their horror prop movie making proclivities. But I ain't going to spend any more time on it because in the meantime, every 5 minutes, someone is killed off camera in this film.
Every 5 minutes, someone's killed off camera by one or two red Macintosh wearing, axe wielding devil faces. So, yeah, she finds her screaming in the basement. They're locked inside, and there's a brief chase where they...
Very Freddy Krueger coded, this basement, right?
Very what?
Freddy Krueger coded
I also feel like Stoker looks a little bit like Wes Craven. When he looks a bit like Wes Craven when he's playing the janitor in Scream.
Oh, Fred, the janitor.
Fred, yeah. So they escape through it. They rush to the prom room to warn everyone. But as this happens, the prom queen announcement server is 11:05.
7:05.
5 minutes enough.
In
First past the post. It's first past the post. We're in there. That's what it is.
First to one vote. You've done it.
You've done it. Who voted? Yeah. So Laurie gets announced as prom queen. Oh, she stands up on stage, tries to warn the school. I feel like half of them gone home at this point. It's not even a case of half of them are dead. Half of them have gone home. 11. Like if you're not up for prom queen or king, it's got pretty shit, pretty fast, pretty tedious. The vibes are dead. I'm off.
And the two big supporters of is it Tiffany? Tiffany's two big supporters will not let Megan get out of her. She's trying to run against. There's a bloody murder. Shh, just stop talking about it. No, she's probably getting like Dr. Eviled by the. And then a big murderer comes in and chops that woman's leg off and that fella's head.
Runs in, chops someone's leg off, or just starts hacking down a few students, right? Kills those two supporters, Claire and Gerald.
Yeah.
And then Principal Wayland, who we've not even mentioned once.
Principal Wayland Yutani in his 80s.
Wayland Yutani gets his robot
arm. Famous 80s film franchise reference yet again.
Yeah. But it's not milk that comes out of his arm, it's blood.
Milk and marbles. Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. And then Laurie manages to stab the assailant, the killer, with the tiara crown. And then it's revealed who the killer is. It is Tiffany.
You believe in magic. It's Oz from American Pie.
Love it. It is Oz from American Pie, Tiffany's father, Dan Falconer. It's weird that throughout the film, we haven't really mentioned either him or the mum, the other Falconer, because they're kind of like just there, but not really doing anything important, right?
They're like helicopter parents, aren't they? They're chaperoning the dance. They're supporting the... Oh, man, can you imagine, Ben? I mean, at this stage of my life, 41 years old, it's unlikely to happen. Can you already imagine if you had the neck to do a leotard dance routine to She's Got the Look in your school? Can you imagine your mum and dad also being there while you did it?
Well, again, that's why it's Mean Girls code, isn't it? Because, like, they're obviously, like, into it. Like, yeah, come on. Do the bloody dance. We love it.
Oh, they know the choreography. The mum's like...
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. The police arrived. Dan is arrested with a tiara in his eye. Not killed. He's alive.
I love it how the mom at this point goes, "Why did you do it, Dan?" And just like, you just wanted it so much.
Yeah.
Rig the votes, Dan.
Rig the bloody votes. It's easier. Killing everyone. You want your daughter to win prom queen? Yeah, I do. I'm gonna kill all the rivals. Well, you're in a position of power. You've got your hand. You can get your grubby little hands on the votes. You can probably do a lot of other things. To
be fair, you even see the mom tick a few more for Tiffany and put them in.
They're just covering all their bases, just trying to make sure she wins.
It's because they've split the vote, isn't it? It's because they've split the vote. Although technically, there's going to be a lot of spoiled ballots in there because the average voters had no awareness of 3 more of the candidates having been killed.
Exactly. Spoiled ballots, 100%. You vote for someone who's dead.
Go ahead, throw your vote away.
So the police arrived. Dan is arrested. Megan gets taken to hospital. That's Laurie's best friend. Laurie returns home, and this is weird, but they go like, "I'll take Tiffany home."
Well, she's really sad, and then Laurie, showing herself to be nice, goes, "Oh, it's all right. I live next to her. I'll take her
home." Tiffany apologizes for her behavior. Too little, too late, I say. And then
I would not be so forgiving. But anyway, I like how you've learned a lesson, but you're still a bitch, so I bid you good night.
Shit. Nancy, Tiffany's mother, that's Katherine Waterston, who didn't recognise because of hairstyling. She returns to the house, and she reveals herself to be that second killer. There's mum and dad in on it together to try and get Tiffany to win. Laurie and Tiffany hide. They hide in like a cupboard.
Before they hide in a cupboard, Ben, why they get an opportunity to hide in the cupboard and recreate that scene from Halloween?
Go on.
It's because both the girls are, at least visually, upstairs asleep. Right?
Yeah. With TV on?
Yeah, TV on, asleep. You know what you could do if you're a killer? Walk upstairs quietly and get her with a stab. That's your wake up call. Defense
easy.
levels are at 0. What she does is walk upstairs, dinging the knife off every single bit of furniture, sharpening. She may as well sing like a 1-2 Freddy's coming for you as she walks up the stairs, walking upstairs with her hobnail boots on, being as loud as possible to make sure everyone is fully alerted to the fact a murderer is coming.
Walk up the stairs with spurs on her boots. So yeah, they hide in the cupboard. Tiffany tries to stab Laurie after this,
she's in on it. She's got a wee knife, hasn't she?
She's involved. So she's got a tiny little wee knife there in the cupboard, and she pulls that out. She was also involved. The three of you were involved in some sort of murderous pact, and you still couldn't get the job done and win the prom. You losers. Nancy, the mum, then explains that she killed Laurie's father after he broke up with her and left her for Laurie's mother. So, yeah, the long game. Yeah. Laurie pushes Tiffany.
I also love that she goes, it's quite symmetrical, isn't it? That I killed your dad and now I'm going to kill you. So, no, it'd be symmetrical if you killed my date after he chose it and then I was implicated in the murder. This is just two things that have happened.
This is just two things that are happening, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a brief scuffle. And Laurie ends up pushing Tiffany down the stairwell. She gets impaled.
Eat stairs, bitch. Kicks her down.
On the hallway decoration below. I was a bit like, I don't know. Would that happen? It'd probably just break. Nancy and Laurie engage in a brief struggle before Laurie bludgeons her with a trophy. At least.
Why does she look in the bureau, Ben?
I don't know. What?
Because the front door is locked. She runs downstairs because bloody front door's locked. Although it's not locked once the mom has been dispatched with. I'm guessing she was keeping it locked with the power of her mind. Yeah. She can't open the door. So she runs to the bureau, looks in all the little cupboards and the drawers.
Yeah.
Can't find anything, runs over to the cabinet, punches it open with her fist and just bashes it with a trophy.
I have to admit, I've kind of forgotten what happens in this last minute or so, or last few minutes.
Yeah, so basically the mom is coming, she slowly walks downstairs. I mean, to be fair, she's just a process, a bit of a shock. Her daughter has just been kicked down the stairs like the end of audition and been impaled. And then she basically encroaches on Laurie slowly while she thumps the trophy cabinet, gets out a big marble one and bonks her on the head with it. Gives her a bonk on the head, and then she goes, clearly like neck broken, battered. It's like, help me, help me! I'm probably gonna die. And she goes, yeah, eat it, bitch, and then leaves.
Yeah, there's a bit like into the credits as well, where her blood like forms a mark on the floor, doesn't it?
Yeah, like a little pentagram. So maybe were they affected by the curse of Fear Street?
The next one's going to be like a satanic panic sort of thing, isn't it? That's what it's going to be.
I think that leads into the 1990s one that we've seen. Yeah. Right? So it could be, is it the curse of the witch that made the thing is that just made people at random become possessed killers. Whereas these guys had their own motives and stuff and weren't invincible, like indestructible T-1000 regenerating monsters. They were just a couple, and they got bashed on she got bashed on the noggin to death.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That's Fear Street Prom Queen. Have you got any name game?
I've got a couple for you, Ben. Do you have any the synopsis for me, I should say?
I can give you the synopsis. So, the synopsis is: when the It Girls compete for Prom Queen at Shadyside High start to disappear, a gutsy outsider discovers she's in for one hell of a prom night.
Okay. When a group of teen girls compete for who will be the belle of the ball at the prom, young Laurie, when she sleeps the night before the prom, she has vivid fantasies about the god worshipped by Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, I told you before we recorded this, I was tired. I ain't gonna be able to pull that from the recesses of my mind at all. The god who was worshipped by Conan the Barbarian. Is it just one word that you've replaced?
It is. Oh no, because she sees visions of them when she's sleeping.
Fear Street. Something dream.
Yeah, Crom.
Oh God, I would never have got it.
Crom dream. Fear Street. Crom.
What are you doing over there? You having a crom dream?
Yeah, I am.
Wait.
And I say, if bring me my enemies, see them driven before you, feast on the lamentations of the women and children, and if not, if you cannot deliver me these things, Crom, deal with you.
It was a good Arnold Schwarzenegger, but for the first 3 words, I thought you were doing a Fred Elliott from Coronation Street. I say, Crom. I say, Crom, Ashley. I say, Crom. Okay. When the It Girls compete for Prom Queen at Shadyside High start to disappear, a gutsy outsider discovers he's in for one hell of a prom night. And it's pretty weird that he's at a prom, but he's a bloke of about 40 odd, a Canadian comedian, and he turns up and starts saying a load of weird shit on stage, like my bum is on the cheese, and he's the backwards man.
Is it Tom Green?
Correct.
From
Fear Street, Tom Green. There we go.
In this one, when the It Girls compete to see who will be belle of the ball at the local at the end of school dance, the planning committee have a strange idea. Rather than go with a standard prom decor or go for the romance under the sea, like idealing and styling of things, they decide to go for an entire menu and aesthetic based upon a Chinese chef which popularized in the UK a particular type of saucepan. So, in what way have they styled their prom?
I know what chef you mean.
He'll turn up on Saturday Kitchen quite often.
Wong?
It's not Wong.
Yeah.
And it's, of course,
Go on.
the whole prom has become Ken Hom themed.
Ken Hom themed. I love it. Okay. I'm sorry, my brain is split frazzled. When It Girls competed for Prom Queen at Shadyside High start to disappear, a gutsy outsider turns up. And this gutsy outsider has got a real hatred for a one Peter Parker. Proper hatred for him, but still doesn't stop him doing his lovely performance, flying around the prom hall on his glider.
Green Goblin, what's it?
Fear Street, Prom Green Goblin.
Prom Green Goblin.
Prom Green Goblin. We attack his heart.
The DJ's playing a song and he's about to cut it. Finish it.
Just he's doing. They're all dancing on the stage, and suddenly just a pumpkin bomb rolls over and turns them all into skeletons.
Into green skeletons. Or when she's standing there at the end with a little tiara. I'm something of a prom queen myself.
Exactly. Peter Parker. Actually, that's more Doc Ock I'm doing.
Yeah.
Peter Parker. They're all quite similar, aren't they? So all of the villains are kind of the Joker.
When he's like doing the thing when they've said, "Oh, why did you do it?" When do you have any idea how much I've sacrificed?
Do you have any idea how much I've sacrificed? Drinking his little. Oh yeah, I'd like to see this. I've got.
Gets
Got any more? I've got one. I've just thought of.
I've got one more. Here's what I have for you. So, in this one, the It Girls all compete to see who will be top of the pops at their school dance. You never guess what, though. Someone has forgot to make the trifle. So the trifle's not even finished. I've got the jelly, but what am I going to do with just jelly? This is an adults' party. This has to be far more adult than just a bit of jelly. And someone says, "Don't worry, I've got just the dairy product we need, but it is all stored in my baby transport. So you can have some of my
Milk?
so all of the the dairy product you need to finish the trifle. I've got it all in my baby buggy.
Cream.
So what is it?
Pram cream.
Prom cream.
Jesus Christ. This can't go on like this. It can.
I say.
Talking of murderers, we mentioned Fred and Rose West at the start. When It Girls compete for Prom Queen at Shadyside High, start to disappear, a gutsy outsider, but also happens to be a mass murderer, known as the Butcher of Plainfield, or the Plainfield Ghoul, turns up and tries to swing the vote in his favor by making his prom dress out of skin.
Ed Gein.
Ed Gein. It is Fear Street Prom Ed Gein.
I mean, there's no advance on that. I mean, I'm not sure I can top Crom.
Please don't
Prom
say
dream
pram cream
or-
again. Just never say pram cream again. Right. Should we rate the film?
Yes, let's.
A to F, pluses and minuses allowed. Rate good or rate bad. Do you know what? It's rate bad. I'm not gonna say much else because I feel like I've let myself be known. I've put myself out there from the word go. I didn't really enjoy this. I feel like characters a bit naff, killer a bit naff, storyline a bit naff. As I said, no characters have really got any redeeming features. No one really goes through any true character development. The needle drops are gratuitous. The kills are okay, I guess. They're probably only a redeeming factor, if there was a redeeming factor. But I'm going for D minus.
Wow,
Right?
he's done it.
He's
Having a real
done
case,
it.
having a case of the Mondays. There. I'm going to go slightly higher, but not by much, I'm afraid.
Case
Now,
of the
remembering that these letters do still get degrees, Ben, but I'm going to go for a D here. By no means unwatchable. There are some good kills in here to enjoy a little bit of creativity, but that is kind of where it ends. I think it is a little bit too concerned with referencing some of the greats of the genre and hitting some of those markers that have perhaps been laid out by corporate, and less concerned with being its own thing or bringing new things to the table. And that dance off is fairly unforgivable.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Some things you can see that are over the top and are funny and are played for laughs. It's not actively attempted to be played for laughs. It's a difficult bit to watch. I cringed less seeing that boy get his hands chopped off.
That was enjoyable compared to the dance off.
Yeah. So it's a D from me. It's a little bit of a shame.
I feel like comparing it to the other films, which I think were for the most part enjoyable, even the worst of the three was still like watchable and enjoyable, whereas this was like, to be fair, I know I've said that a few times. Oh, it feels like it was written by AI, but I feel like it's the first film where I felt like that. I feel like most other films, even if there were like accusations of like but for the first time, it just felt like an amalgamation of all of these prom horror slashers, and just like a really watered down version of one of those stories. So yeah, pretty disappointing because I was kind of looking forward to this. But
Yeah.
There we go then. That's Fear Street Prom Queen. And that's the end of the episode. Thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks for our patrons over there. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast and Rusty Quill for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, horrorhangout.co.uk for everything in one place. And as previously mentioned, next week we're talking about Sweet Home with special guest Daniel Richardson of Terabytes.
Join us for that. And if in the meantime, it is in the Northern Hemisphere getting very close to summer dance season and the end of school. So if you yourself are listening and are planning a prom, might I suggest Ken Hon themed?
Get that Ken Hon theme from. And if you're going to be the DJ, if you're going to choose like a real deep cut to really infuriate the jocks, to really infuriate the jocks,
There's a little known obscure artist by the name of Prince.
by the name of Prince, and also someone else called Run DMC. And I know a lot of people might not like that. They might not like. There's not a cool choice, but it'll go off at your 1988 prom.
Yeah, so try out those little known obscure tracks from me. Sorry for everyone who's not watching us on video. This isn't Joe Wiley here presenting the hottest new music. This is just some deep cuts from your old friends Andy and Ben.
Some true deep cuts. Okay, right. See you next week then.
See you later, everybody. Take care. Bye. Bye.